Welcome back to Touchline Sports, and in this segment we are joined by one referee from Kenya who referees rugby. And when we were talking about player welfare in the previous section, we also need to understand about all the other key players in rugby, in football. There's refereeing, there's staff, there's the medical team, and today we have the privilege of listening in from one referee who has done it all here locally, especially in Kenyan rugby, but also with aspirations of international rugby. So I'm here joined in studio by Joseph. So Joseph, floor is yours. Tell the guys a little bit about yourself.
Okay. My name is Joseph Mumo. I'm a rugby referee. I am a referee under Kenya Rugby Referees Association, which is the association governing referees in Kenya. But I'm also a referee under Nairobi Rugby Referees Society, which is a society. KRRA is divided in regions. So we have Nairobi Rugby Referees Society, we have Coast Rugby Referees Society, we have Central, we have Western and Rift Valley. So I am under Nairobi Rugby Referees Society.
And that is great. And I see you've also come here with some tools here in studio. But before we really go into it, I'd like you to share with us some requirements for you to be a referee, because a lot of people think about, I want to be a player, but guys like you saw another picture, another bigger picture, and said, I want to be a referee. So talk us through about the requirements, what you need, and you know, a little bit of that, and then you can explain to us what these tools of trade or tools of work mean.
Okay. So for you to be a referee, I think it all starts with the passion, because you see, in rugby you can either be a fan, you can either be a player, you can either be a medic, you can either be a coach. So it is what pushes you to be what you want to be. Becoming a referee is easy. The process of development is what takes a little bit of time. But locally, what we do, we have what we call sites where we do our exams. It's a World Rugby portal. So they are called prerequisites. Before you become a referee, there are certain exams under World Rugby that you are supposed to do. Once you do those exams, now there is a training session which is held either in Nairobi or in the different parts of the country. And now you are taken through a module on how you can become a referee. So after you get a basic understanding of what refereeing entails, then now you're given like a guidance on how you can better yourself as a referee. You're given a few matches here and there to gauge you. You're given assistant refereeing roles. You even volunteer to go and referee school games, to even referee age grade games, just to get to understand and start practicing being a referee.
And when I look at you, you seem fairly fit, so I presume the fitness tests for rugby referees are also really tough.
For you to be a referee, you just need to have the same level of fitness as the players. It's only that we don't bulk as the guys that you see on TV. But in terms of sprinting wise, in terms of endurance wise, you just have to match what the players are doing, because unlike other sports, I won't go into other sports, we don't run on lines, on straight lines. We run wherever the ball is, you must be there. So you can imagine the kind of running you do in a pitch. So you must be very fit.
Oh, okay. And when we talk about you and your journey to being a referee, did you for any period ever really think of playing, or have you ever played rugby before?
Yes, I have played rugby before, not in a very competitive way. I started playing rugby in high school, in Makueni Boys. Then I played rugby partially after high school, and then the first 2 years in campus. Then, after the first 2 years, I was in Rift Valley. So it was not so competitive then. The rugby was not so competitive, and it was not offering me good playing exposures. So I felt I can do something else and contribute into this game, and that's why I switched into refereeing.
And you can do really well with the tools of trade that you've brought with us here today. So do you mind explaining what each of these means? Because other guys may have looked at these cards, the whistle, the flag from football per se, because there's a lot of similarity. But I know and I understand they serve different purposes across the different sports. So maybe starting with the flag, which is you ask any average guy will tell you that's an offside flag.
Yeah.
But what does it mean in rugby?
So this flag is used by assistant referees. So it is used for 3 roles.
Yeah.
One, to signal for conversion. I don't know whether guys understand that, but basically it's used by assistant referees.
Yeah.
So this is a mode of communication. You communicate to the center referee, just like in football. You communicate to the center referee by the flag because you are running on the touch line.
Yeah.
So when the ball goes into touch, you raise your flag like this, and then you signal the team that is throwing in.
Yeah.
When maybe there is a foul play that the referee has missed, you flag your flag. You point your flag inside there. So the referee can. This is just indirect communication.
Yeah.
When he sees your flag like this, he knows there is some
something.
foul play. I need to consult my assistant referee.
Okay.
So this is the mode of communication from the outside.
The assistant.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe now we can move to the cards.
Yeah, the cards. Now, for the cards, these are unlike other sports. I'll just do a quick demo.
Yeah.
Yellow card. We have rugby has 3 versions. We
Okay.
have the 7th version of the game.
Yeah.
We have the 10th version of the game and the 15th. So
Yeah.
when you get a yellow card in 7th,
Yeah.
you go out for 2 minutes, and this is a yellow card.
Okay.
So you go out for 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
In the 10th game, when you get a yellow card, you
Yeah.
go out for 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
In 15th, you go out for 10 minutes.
Okay.
This one is a red card.
Yes.
When you get a red card in rugby,
Yeah.
it is done.
That's
Even if it's minute 1, that is it. That is the end of
So the red card
play.
has a sort of uniformity across many different sports.
Yes.
And when also we are talking about communication with the center referee, we know here in Kenya we may not be as advanced as maybe Australia and New Zealand, and we see a lot of digital communication between the referees abroad. And what of here in Kenya? Are we there yet, or it's still a far-fetched idea for us?
I think in Kenya, I can say rugby in Kenya is more of amateur than pro, because if you look at how referees officiate matches in other countries and in other pro countries versus how we officiate the game here, we apply the same laws, we apply the same standard of refereeing, the same style, but we have the 4th official.
Yes.
Now, locally, we use 3 officials: center referee, assistant referee 1, assistant referee 2.
Yeah.
But now, in international standards, we have the 4th official, who is called it's a TMO. So he's in charge of. He's looking just the way we are here with a screen. He's just following the game from a different place, and when the team of 3 misses an incident, now he must signal the referee that you've missed a certain foul play. So we've not reached that level yet. Locally, we're just using the radios, basic communication, and now the basic communications that are in global. We've not advanced to the level of TMO.
For those maybe who follow football closely, TMO could be the equivalent of VAR, where the referee follows the game from another center, where if the referee misses something and the assistants, they can flag it back, and the team can get awarded, or they can get a foul changed back to not being a foul. And when we speak again here of locally, we understand that many referees here locally are not just referees full-time, but they also have careers on the side, or they also pursue something else on the side. So when it comes to you, Joseph, do you do anything else on the side, or are you committed to being a full-time referee?
I am an entrepreneur. I am not so committed in rugby 100% because, like I've said, our local setup is amateur. So you cannot fully depend on the sport. You have to balance. Actually, most of the referees in the country do this as a hobby. It's never a full-time thing. But we are reimbursed when you travel. For example, today I'm the assistant referee KCB Nakuru. When you travel, when you do the game, there is some basic allowances that you get, but they cannot sustain you to take it so professionally. So I'm an entrepreneur. I run 2 companies. I sharehold in one, and I own one.
And that is amazing. And again, we'll also have to believe that one day our refereeing can also elevate to the standards where referees are acclaimed internationally, and they don't have to do anything else on the side. They can just focus on the rugby. And you spoke about reimbursement, and there's been a huge question of remuneration and getting paid across different sports in Kenya, the budgets for different sports, the federations, how much they get paid. Do you think that is, again, a key challenge for the referees, let alone the players? Because I understand there's a whole lot going there, but for referees again, do you think that's also another challenge? It may be due to strict budgets, sometimes it may be due to management, but do the referees think that maybe a lot more, a little more? What do they think of it in terms of getting the reimbursements and getting paid?
Actually, one of the main challenges we're facing in Kenya as the Kenya Rugby Referees Association is funding. Because across the board, sports is an investment, and it's a very huge investment. You see, for you to be a referee, alongside doing the basics that we do here, go referee a game here and there, we need to grow to the international standards. And that comes with like a big investment. We have high performance camps, we have exchange programs, we have, we have tours around the world. Like, we just need to like be the way an Australian referee is refereeing. That's the same way we are supposed to be refereeing. But we are not yet there because we don't have sufficient funds to organize for high performance camps, for the exchange programs. The budget is not there. So we struggle financially, and that has affected our quality of output as well.
Okay. And when we finalize on speaking about challenges, we've talked about the digital, the communication challenges, you're talking about the remuneration. Is there any other key challenge that you as Joseph can point out and say, this, if this is fixed, we may get a better product in terms of refereeing and generally in terms of rugby? Do you think there's maybe in terms of how the players, you know, behave, or where else do you think there is a challenge here in rugby that does not sit well maybe with refereeing, but also for the good of the game, this thing should be fixed?
I would say prioritizing referees, because most of the times you find the main, we understand it's because of the financial, it's because of the financial crisis we have in the country, but you see, we have classes in the country where players come first. Kenya Sevens right now, they're going to play in Perth over the weekend. We have Simbas, we have the ladies, so the priorities change. And that is where now it's a bone of contention because of the finances, but I feel if we are prioritized well and we are put on the first, on the table when they are discussing about matters to do with players, the other stakeholders of the game, I think we'd also be doing well, because we would also be considered as a very critical element of this game.
Yeah, and I think when the management of KRU is doing benchmarking and looking out for new ways to improve the game, I think refereeing is a place they can really improve, because we see international referees also have a say. They also run professional bodies for referees, and they receive similar acclaim to maybe the management, if not more at times. You also see it in football, for example, in the Premier League with the PGMOL, where even a single foul goes back to the whole refereeing body, and they even issue statements. And also you see that kind of respect is what is needed for referees here in Kenya. And when we talk about respect, and we also talk about mentality here for the referees, one may ask, during the game, when you see these guys are huge and you look like a fly half and you're there, so how does it go about? Because, you know, sport, across different sports, when someone sees a foul not go their way, sometimes they can explode. So for rugby, maybe for basketball, you can understand the referees, but for rugby, these guys are huge and the referees are not as huge as them. How do you deal with it?
I would say refereeing rugby is one of the most interesting thing, and people ask, when you say you're in rugby, people look at you and they wonder, I mean, you're in rugby really? Because they are used to huge guys with big muscles, but one of the core values of the game is respect, and it is very well displayed even locally. Rugby is one of the safest games to officiate. The players talk to you with a lot of respect, and the management as well, they've laid out very strict measures on disciplinary issues, because once you bring out those issues of indiscipline and whatnot, there is an entire judicial mechanism whereby you can either get banned, you can either be suspended for a few weeks, even the club can even disown you. So I mean, the strictness of the game locally gives us the leeway to express ourselves without the fear of being punched, without the fear of being abused verbally. I mean, even when you attend these games, you will just wonder how these huge guys are respecting the small guys. You'll never see a crazy, even if a team loses and they feel they've lost unfairly, it is very well handled.
And I think that is totally true with rugby. You just hope the same can be reflected in football. Last week we saw the Harambee Stars captain fighting with the referee. So hopefully the same thing transfers to football. And for you, Joseph, you've been a referee for a while. Kindly share with us some of the big games or 1, 2, 3 games that you've enjoyed refereeing over the past few seasons.
I would say I'm more of a sevens referee. I love sevens, mentored by one man, Rasta Rasivenke, who was one of the best referees in the globe. I've done Safari Sevens twice. These last year's Safari Sevens and 2023 Safari 7, and I would say Safari 7s is the prime of the local competition because it's an international tournament. I've also gone to Uganda. I did it was a Mileke Sevens in Uganda, invitational exchange program. I've refereed, very big, huge games locally. KCB playing Cabras, refereed Oilers playing KCB, the big teams, Strathmore, Harlequins. So I can say I've really walked the journey in this game.
And you've enjoyed it.
And I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it so much.
I understand that you have a game to ref after this show, and you'll make it at Ruaraka Sports Club. So as we wind up, do you mind sharing with the people, the viewers, everyone watching, what you think the future is for refereeing and what your future is as Joseph?
Basically, Kenya rugby referees are very talented. Actually, in Africa, I think we have the biggest pool of referees who are very talented and who are willing to go the next level. With proper funding and with proper systems, I believe Kenya rugby referees can represent the country in international levels, and they can even match the international standards. Sometimes we watch the Challenger series, the HSBC series, the 15th games, and you can just put yourself in that pitch and you're like, I can even do better than this. But of course, everything has a system, has a pathway. So we're still hoping one day, one time, Kenyan referees will be out there and will be kicking it hard. For Mumo, I am always putting this game as a proper hobby. I'm working hard in the same, and hopefully one day I'll be out there in HSBC in the Challenger series, and I'll be tossing with the big guys in the game.
And we hope that eventually you get there and you're reffing the biggest game, because we know the potential is always there for us as Kenyans to improve. And that has been Joseph. We've really had an engaging chat here about refereeing, and as we move on to the next segment, I'm going to ask him to close it for us with a whistle the same way they end it for us. So see you in the next segment, where we're going to be having another engaging conversation on another sport which needs to be shed the light more here in Kenya. But for now, Joseph, we wish you the best as you continue refereeing and in your businesses. So take it away.
Thank you, sir. I also wish you all the best in broadcasting these the sports in the country, because it's a big thing, because sports in the country has not been prioritized so much as politics, and hopefully one day, one time, sports will also be the talk of the town. So we'll close this the way we close an official game with a whistle. These are Thundera. It's a little bit heavy, so just for the test and for how it sounds.
Thank you so much. That's been Joseph. See you in the next segment.